Welcome back, y'all. So what you're going to see me doing today is a cake. It's a replication of a cake that I made for someone. So right there you're seeing me use my Texas Tough gallon bag. I use this because it just helps contain the mess, the pickup. It makes it a lot easier. Now I'm just adding it to the top of the cake. I cut the corner off with scissors. I show you that right there. The little trash. Make sure everything, I keep it where I can just throw it away. That's my offset spatula. I'm going to smooth out what I just put on the cake, the buttercream. I also make that homemade. So I'm just going to smooth it out. What I'm going to add to the top of the cake to help make the cake a uniformed column is a circular 9-inch disc. I add press and seal paper to it. It's food grade paper, of course. It's just a Glad press and seal. I add it on there just so that I can easily dispose of it. The discs, since they are acrylic, do react to heat. So buttercream, you have to clean it with heat because it's exactly what it is, butter. So it gets greasy. So I just do that to avoid the grease getting on there. So I line up my circular disc with the cake, make sure that all edges are covered. The cake is an 8-inch. The circular disc is a 9-inch. Usually people go with an 8-inch, 8.5-inch circular disc, but I do a 9-inch. That way it's more forgiving. There are other ways to do it also, but that's the way I choose. Now here are all the little globes that I picked out for the cake. Now this one in particular had certain colors, right? Black and purple. So I just pluck out the colors that I need and put them in there. Amazon is a great place to find things and get them next day delivered. Also, if you opt and give yourself enough time, you can get it shipped out a little bit further and earn credits, which is what I do. I'll earn credits, and with those credits, I actually reward my children with them, and they get to buy what they want. But so there you go. A lot of the products that you're going to see me use are Amazon products, and I'm going to show you all of them. So I had to order a separate kit with some purple little balls, only because it wasn't going to get here at the same time. It was a short order, so I didn't have enough time. There are some bats. You saw me put the number 5 in there. So all this was what I used on the cake. So I'm just showing you so you can see. Now I'm putting the purple little balls in there. A pink one gets in there, but I do take it out, so don't you worry about that. And one tried to get away from me. So definitely, it's not a hard thing to do. You can simplify your cakes, and the acrylic discs really do help a lot if you're not good at getting those even smooth lines. They're very forgiving and they help, but you do want to adhere it onto the cake and put it in the refrigerator for about 4 hours. I usually will put something a little heavy on top of it, like a block of cheese, and I also make sure with the level that it's leveled. That way it doesn't come out lopsided, because it will come out the way you put it. So now I'm smoothing out some fondant. I'm actually mixing it with Tyclos. The reason I'm doing that is because there is a topper that I need to put on there, and it's an edible topper. So it's the hand from the whole movie, and Tyclos is a way to add to fondant to make it harder quicker. I also, in between, microwave it for about 10 seconds. Anything more than that, it's going to get liquidy, and you don't want that. I mean, you do, because it will harden faster, but it's harder to use. So I just add the Tyclos, pop it in for 10 seconds in the microwave, which is right to my left, and then keep kneading it. I really wish I could knead that fast, because that would really speed up the amount of time I take on a cake. But with the amount of kids that I have, I've been doing cakes for the past 20 years, and each one gets a personalized cake for their birthday. And so, I've done it for family and friends and stuff like that. So it's really interesting. And I have 5 kids, so that's, the good part. 2 of them are off and doing their big things in the world, and the littles are here with me. So I'm just kneading that tie close in. Now I'm going to use a little rolling pin that I got at Michael's. It is marked because I've used it several times, so it has a yellow line on the back of it. I'm not sure if that's just to age or why I have it, but it's clean. So there's that yellow line. But it's still good and it's clean, like I said. So I just add it to the side, keep smoothing out, making that piece of fondant the shape and size that I need it. Also making sure not to overly roll it out or make it too thin is what I'm trying to say. So I add in a pick to the middle, and then I'm going to add water very lightly onto that pick. I think I already did. And then I make sure that my hands are completely dry, and I add on the edible image. Now typically you want the edible image to cover the entire fondant sheet, but in this case it doesn't matter because the bottom portion of it is going to go into the cake. So I make sure everything is pressed on and that there's no water at all that is going to smudge the edible image. Now I'll go in with my X-Acto knife made for baking and cut around the edible image the excess fondant that is mixed with tie close. Now as you can see, as I lift those pieces, they already are pretty hard, so it's already doing what it needs to do. And so now I go around, tuck in those pieces. This whole time I just want you to know my hands are washed, my hands are clean. So I get out that piece of plastic that was on the edible image that I cut around, and I put it on the front portion of the edible image. That way no kind of moisture gets in, and then I will set it to the side so it can do what it needs to do and dry. And so right now I'm just gonna pick it up, set it to the side, make sure no tie close gets on the edible image because it will stick too. And now I'm going to do a second edible image, but I am not going to add in tie close. The reason why is this image, I need it pliable. I'm going to add it to the front of the cake. So I'm just rolling out my fondant and making sure that it's going to fit the size of the image. Now you can add an edible image to the front of a cake, but it may get lumpy and it may peel away. Adding a piece of fondant, there I am adding some water so that the edible image would adhere. What you don't see is me cleaning my hands off on a clean towel, so that moisture is not on my hands. But you do want to, like I said, add this edible image, since it is going on the front of the cake, to a piece of fondant. Once you do that, you are not going to see it tear away from the cake, bubble up in any way, shape, or form. It just goes on smoother. So now I'm going to cut the edible image out and get rid of that excess fondant. As you can tell, my edible image covers the entire piece of fondant. And it's a little tricky and a little more intricate when you're cutting pieces like the dancing hands and stuff like that, or the dress, or little wisp of hair. But it's actually fun and therapeutic. I like it. I don't get to do it as often anymore because I only have 3 littles that like to celebrate their birthday. But there you go. I go ahead and remove that, set it to the side. Now this image, I am going to put it into a Ziploc bag. The reason why is I really don't want it to dry out. Cake is still chilling, and I haven't added the buttercream to the side, and it's not in a position where I can go ahead and adhere it right now to the cake. So all this is just prep work that I'm putting to the side. So now my cake's chilled for a few hours, about 4 to 6 hours. I've pulled it out. It is now, the top disc is adhered. So I usually start my cakes at the top and bottom portion. I will go top portion and add in buttercream right underneath the cylinder disc. And then I just keep going and add buttercream all around. I'll usually do the bottom too. That way it's just, I don't know, I guess uniformed. I don't know, it just makes sense to me, but I don't think I do it here. I just keep going round and round. And this is going to be a two-tone cake, so I'm going to add all the purple icing that I made, mixed and colored, to that. And then I'm going to add, I'm pointing right there at the black. That is two-toned, so it's a forgiving cake. You know, some of that two-toned black portion is going to pull into the purple, and the purple is going to pull into the black. So there I am, just adding that black portion of buttercream to the bottom of the cake, and just going and adding. Now that little piece of purple buttercream that fell on the bottom of the cake, not a big problem. It'll be covered by the black buttercream and actually just serve as an extra layer on the bottom. And so you don't have to cover the cake completely, but you do have to get the majority of spaces or voids covered. So now you just saw my straight edged spatula, and boom, the magic, it's done. So now you see all these crevices that were left from the buttercream and the circular disc. So I go back and I smooth it out with a clean finger. Usually, if it's for somebody else, I will use gloves. In this case, it's just a replica of a cake that I did. Since it is kind of popular right now, I'm just showing you. And so, in the next few steps, I am going to show you how to decorate it. So, I look for the spot that has the most blemishes when I'm adding a edible image to the front. And so, I just adhere. You just press on, press, press, press. And I add a few of those balls that are for cake decorating to the back of her head just to keep it from plopping down, because of course this doesn't have Tyclos in it, and so that just helps. It also adds to the aesthetic of the cake. And now you just go and you decorate and you add your decorations where you want them and how you want them. And it is a time consuming, expensive cake, but you've made it at home and it looks like it. Everything is up to you. You may not be the best decorator, but you can make a nice cake with just regular box cake, and then put your fillings in, whether it's jelly or fruit, and then go about decorating it. And there you go. That's the finished product. My kids enjoyed it and had fun with it. So hope you keep watching.